See if you're worthy to be called a ninja.
We are back with another character pack for Tekken 8, and this time Bandai Namco is kicking things off with the Enchanted Thief Kunimitsu. This iteration of Kuni is fast, has some really great punish options if you've got the execution to pull them off, and retains her Katon, Setsunagake, and back-turn stances from Tekken 7. On the downside, her damage isn't quite as high as many of the others on the roster, she's lacking a bit in range, and she's especially vulnerable to sidestepping or sidewalking to the right. All things we'll cover in this video, going over her stances, best moves, punishes, and some combo routes to help you get started with Kunimitsu. As always, special thanks to Bandai Namco esports manager Alex Julio for walking me through the character. Let's start off with stances and buckle in because there's a lot to go over here. Kuni has two completely unique stances in Katon and Setsunagake, but she also has a ton of options at back turn along with many ways to make her back face the opponent. Starting off with Katon, this stance can be entered raw by inputting 1+2, but more than likely you'll be transitioning into it after landing Kuni's jabs. She can transition into it after 1-1, 2-2, and back turn 1-2 by pressing 1+2 after those strings. As usual, you need to be careful about transitioning into this stance if your jab string is blocked, as you cannot block while in this stance, and you will almost certainly go flying for trying. Her moves out of Katon include Cat 1-2, this is a high mid-string with 11 frames of startup. It's a heat engager, and the second hit can be delayed pretty substantially to try to catch someone pressing after the first hit. That first hit is -7 on block, and the second is -9, so both are still safe even if they're blocked. It can be sidestepped and sidewalked to the right. For some added mind games, you can cancel the second hit by holding down to go into a crouched state. Cat 2 is a 23 frame mid that is +5 on block and leads to a +20 knockdown on hit, giving you a guaranteed follow-up with quarter circle forward 2. It is quite linear though and can be sidestepped or walked to both left and right sides. Whatever you do, be careful about trying to hit her out of it as it will counter hit launch. Cat 3-2 is a mid-string with 18 frames of startup, with the second hit working as a launcher. It's a natural combo, so if the first hit lands, the second hit will also land, but you must commit to the second hit. No hit confirming on this one. Both hits are punishable on block, with the first hit being -12 and the second being -16. The string is also sidesteppable and walkable in both directions. Cat 4-2 is your low hitting string out of this stance. 18 frames of startup, and unlike Cat 3-2, this is not a natural combo, so even if the first hit lands, the second hit is not guaranteed, and in fact, it can be ducked and launch punished. On counter hit though, this is a natural combo that leads to a +15 knockdown. It can be sidestepped to both left and right, and if the low is blocked, you're -16. That said, if the second hit is blocked, you're safe at -9. Cat 1+2 is an unblockable option that does 20 damage, gives you a +8 knockdown, but is quite slow, duckable, and sidesteppable in both directions. Setsunagake is her next stance that serves as a quick dash that allows Kunimitsu to close the distance even on moves with a lot of pushback on block. She can enter the stance raw by pressing forward 3, but she also has a number of strings that allow her to transition to it by holding forward, such as 2-2-2 forward, a 12 frame mid high string that transitions at +7 on hit, -4 on block. Forward 4 forward is a 15 frame mid attack that transitions at +7 on hit and +3 on block. More on this move later. Back turn 1-3 forward, this one enters the stance at +6 on hit and -1 on block. And back turn 4 forward, which we'll also cover in more detail once we start talking about her back turn moves. From Setsunagake, she can do Set 1-2, a 10 frame high combo that jails and transitions into back turn on both hit and block, +8 on hit, -6 on block. Set 1-2-1 is a high mid combo that is mostly going to be used in combos as the last hit tornadoes in the air. It's unsafe on block at -11. The last hit can be sidestepped and walked to the right. Set 1-2-2 is safer at -9 on block, but can also be sidestepped right. Set 1-2-3 can be sidestepped in both directions, but on block is only -4. If it hits, you get a knockdown with a guaranteed quarter circle forward 2 follow-up. Set 1-2-4 is her plus on block option ender to the string, leaving her at +3 on block. On hit, it also guarantees a quarter circle forward 2 follow-up. It too is sidesteppable in both directions. Set 2 is a 12 frame counter hit launcher that is +8 on regular hit and -9 on block. Can be sidestepped and walked, but only to the right. Set 3 is a low option that does 17 damage and leaves her at plus 0 on hit, minus 16 on block. On counter hit, it launches. Easily sidestep to the right and potentially sidesteppable to the left, but it depends on the frame advantage of the previous move. Set 4-3 is an 18 frame mid string. This is a committal string, so there's no delaying the second hit. Doing just the first hit will leave you in back turn though, and the second hit is punishable at minus 13. If it hits, you get a knockdown with a guaranteed quarter circle forward 2. It too is sidesteppable in both directions. Set 1+2 is a great 15 frame mid-hitting heat engager that is only minus 5 on block, sidesteppable to both the right and the left. Set 3+4 is a 19 frame flip kick that launches with this cool cinematic. It's minus 17 on block and is mostly going to be used in combos. Finally, moving on to her back turn stance, she can enter this stance raw by pressing back 3+4 and from the following strings. 1, 2, 2, hold back, enters back turn at plus 5 on hit, minus 12 on block. 4-2 transitions on either hit or block, with it entering back turn at plus 6 on hit and minus 3 on block. This string also jails, so the second hit cannot be ducked if the first hit is blocked. Back 4 puts her in the stance at plus 6 on hit and minus 8 on block. From crouch 1+2 puts her in at plus 5 on hit, minus 12 on block. Sidestep 2 at plus 6 on hit, minus 5 on block. Back turn 1 leaves her in back turn at plus 8 on hit, minus 8 on block. Back turn 3 also leaves her in back turn and knocks down with plus 11 frames of advantage, minus 3 on block. And she can also transition from set 1-2 hold back with plus 8 on hit, minus 6 on block. As for what she can do in back turn, she's got back turn 1-2, 1+2, which is an 11 frame high mid string that can transition into katon at plus 3 on hit or minus 8 on block. Then there's back turn 1-2-1. This option is minus 11 on block, and the last hit is sidesteppable to the right. If it hits, you get a plus 15 knockdown. Another option is back turn 1-2-2, which is also sidesteppable to the right, but is safe at minus 9 on block and gives a plus 14 knockdown on hit. Another option is back turn 1-3, which can transition into Setsunagake by holding forward. Plus 2 on hit without transition, but plus 6 if you do the transition. On block, it's minus 5 or minus 1 if you transition into the stance. This is one of the rare Kuni strings that tracks to the right and should be sidestepped to the left. Then there's back turn 1-4, which is a heat engager. The second hit can be ducked and launch punished, but if the second hit is blocked, Kuni is at plus 3. You can mix in back turn 1-3 to catch people that are trying to duck it, but do note that this can be fuzzy blocked with some practice. Back turn 2 is a 19 frame high power crush that is safe on block at minus 7. It can be sidestepped to the left. Next up is back turn 3, which we touched upon briefly, but it's a 24 frame mid flip kick that knocks down with a free follow-up back turn 3 or back turn down 2. It's minus 3 on block, but leaves you in back turn. It's also very linear and can be sidestepped in both directions. Back turn 4 is kinda crazy. This is a 16 frame high homing attack that you can use to transition into Setsunagake by holding forward. If it hits, it knocks down and gives you a free quarter circle forward 2 or set 3+4 follow-up. And if it's blocked, you're at plus 6, regardless of whether or not you hold forward to go into Setsunagake. Back turn 1+2 is going to be Kuni's safest option out of the stance. It's fast at 14 frames, hits mid, is only minus 2 on block, and plus 7 on hit. It's got pretty decent tracking as well, and is only really reliably sidestepped if Kuni is minus going into it. Back turn forward 1+2 is a 16 frame mid crumple launcher that is minus 13 on block and sidesteppable to the left and right. Back turn down 2 is a 17 frame low attack that is plus 4 on hit and minus 13 on block. You also have the option of holding down to recover crouching on this one. Sidesteppable and walkable to the left. And finally, back turn down plus 4 is a 20 frame low that is minus 14 on block, plus 5 on hit, and can be stepped and walked to the right. Now that you know all about her stances, let's focus on some of her most notable moves. Kuni's got a great 13 frame down forward 1 that is plus 5 on hit and only minus 2 on block. Of course, it's also got an extension on down forward 1-2-2. The second hit is jab punishable on block at minus 10, but she can delay it to try and catch someone trying to take their turn after the first hit. The third hit of the string is committal and is minus 14 on block. Down forward 1 itself has good tracking to the left, but is very weak to the right. Down forward 1-2 is also not a natural combo, but if the second hit connects, the third hit is guaranteed. And on counter hit, the whole string is a true combo. Now let's finally revisit forward 4. On its own, forward 4 is -5 on block, but if you transition into Setsunagake by holding forward, it becomes +3. This means if you do either set 1 or set 2 after, they are uninterruptible by jabs. You could try to duck under the set 1, but that's risky as Kuni could also do set 2, which launches, or set 1+2, which is a heat engager to catch the opponent ducking. Sidestepping to the right will beat set 1 and set 2, but set 1+2 will catch your block on sidestep right unless your character has a really good one. Forward 1+2 is a heat engager for Kuni, and what's nice about it is that it covers her weak side, so it tracks to the right, but is weak to sidestep and sidewalk left. On block, it's safe at -6. Down 1 is a 19 frame mid that is +3 on block, and on hit it's +6 and forces crouch. It can be sidestepped and walked to the right, and specifically sidewalked to the left. On counter hit, it's +13 and guarantees a while standing 2-1 heat engager follow-up, since you recover crouching afterwards. Down 1+2 is a 20 frame low attack that is +0 on hit and -14 on block. It also recovers crouching, and if the preceding hit isn't minus, it's sidewalkable in both directions. On counter hit, it's +15, but doesn't guarantee a follow-up. Down back 3-3 is the classic Tekken spinning kick. Blocking the second hit leaves you launch punishable at -19, but you can either do the down back 3-3-4 extension, which will keep you safe at -8 on block, or you can just keep it going continuously by pressing 3 until Kuni gets dizzy and falls over. Note that if she does this, she is punishable, but you'll need to use a slide punish like you would on Law or Shaheen. The down back 3-3-4 extension can also be interrupted by a 13 frame or faster while standing move. Down back 4 is a standard low hitting kick with 17 frames of startup, is +0 on hit, and -12 on block. It tracks to the left, but can be sidestepped to the right at +0 or lower. Back 2 is going to be the move you're going to want to use if you're fishing for counter hits. It's got 17 frames of startup, and on regular hit, it's +5, and on block, it's -9. On counter hit, it's a launcher that can lead to big damage if you catch someone pressing. This one can be sidestepped and walked to the left, but will cover her weaker right side. Quarter circle forward 1+2 is a mid-range attack that's safe on block at -9 and will tornado the opponent if it catches them in the air. It's also a great move to use against the wall as it will wall stun. Forward 2 is a high dashing attack that's +6 on block, and on hit is actually a hit throw that does quite a bit of damage and side switches. Can be sidestepped and walked to the right, but tracks to the left. From crouch, 1+2 is a move that we touched upon briefly as a way to get Kuni into her back turn stance. It's got an 18 frame startup, puts her in back turn at +5 on hit, and on block is -12, but doesn't force back turn. It can be specifically side walked to the left and right, but tracks against sidesteps. Kuni's got some great punish options, and which one you use will often depend on how confident you are in your execution. For 10 frames, she has 1-2-2 or 1-2-2 and hold back to transition into back turn at +5 on hit. She also has 1-1, or if you'd prefer to transition into Katon, she can do 1-1-1+2 to transition into Katon at +4 on hit. If your execution is on point, you could also opt for straight up damage and do forward 4-2. The window here is tight though, and if you mess it up, you're going to be going for a ride as it's -17 on block. An added bonus is that it can also wall stun. For 12 frames, she's got 4-2, which puts her in back turn at +6. Her 13 frame punish is forward 2-3, which knocks down and also wall stuns. Her 14 frame punish is her dragon punch, performed by pressing forward, down, down forward 2, which will launch with the tornado. Like the forward 4 input, you'll need to be confident in your execution here, because if you mess up the timing and do it too late, you're -17 on block. For 15 frames, she has a standard launcher on down forward 2 and her hop kick on up forward 3. And if you block something that's -19 frames or more, her biggest punish will be on up back 3+4. For her while standing punishes on 10 frames, she has forward 4-2 from crouch, once again, if you're confident in your finger dexterity. On 11 frames, there's while standing 4, which is a pretty standard while standing kick that leaves her at +5 on hit. For 12 frames, there's while standing 1-1, which will leave you at +8 and forces crouch on the opponent. At 13 frames, she's got while standing 2-1, a heat engaging punish. For 14 frames, she can do her Dragon Punch from crouch for a launching punish. At 15 frames, her standard launch punish is while standing 3. And finally, once again, if you block a Hell Sweep or something, the best combo starter will be up back 3+4. Now let's put this all together for some combos, covering a variety of different starters and wall situations. And that's Kunimitsu in Tekken 8. If you made it this far, hey, thanks for watching. As always, a very special thanks to Bandai Namco for facilitating this early look, and especially to Alex Julio, as these videos just would not happen without his hard work. I'll see you next time for Bob, and until then, keep it here on IGN.